Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's time to put your feet up, pop the kettle on, and get ready for your daily dose of good news.
Yes, good morning and welcome to this special festive edition of The Good News, a show that brings you light in the darkness, streams in the desert, and a little bit of heat on the chilly winter's nights. I'm Chris Cracker.
And I'm Carol Singer.
And this is Good News. And we've got a great show lined up for you today.
We're really glad you could join us here in the studio as we bring you breaking news that, yep, you've guessed it, there's some really good news. But more of that later on in the programme. Right now, just get yourself a cuppa.
And maybe a cheeky chocolate orange.
Because we've got a real Christmas cracker of a show for you today.
Now, last time we brought you the news of Zechariah and Elizabeth, right? Expecting a baby after speaking to an angel. Poor old Zach has been not able to say a word since the whole thing. He's been really struggling at the supermarket. But we've got good news, okay? Because the whole team here at Good News have clubbed together and got him an Etch-a-Sketch, right? So now we can tell you for sure that Zach has vowed never, ever to doubt the words of an angel again. Or at least that's what we think he's saying. They're really tricky to use, those things.
Coming up on today's shows, camel racing, the latest fitness craze, or a great way to get fit. Is Nazareth the perfect spot for a romantic getaway? And will Chris and I manage to keep our dignity intact as we take on this week's Hosts Challenge?
Seems unlikely to me.
Well, we do love a challenge though, don't we?
Indeed we do.
And as well as our regular Good News singers, we are joined today by the overnight sensation, Gabriel and his holy hostette. Yes, live in living rooms all across the world in this Good News exclusive.
But before we get into that, can I have a big welcome for our studio singers tonight performing an absolute classic, O Come All Ye Faithful. Sing along at home, everyone. Wow, what a beautiful carol.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I wasn't sure about this lipstick either, but yeah, I like it too. And you meant the song. Speaking of good news, this week we've sent Holly, our roving reporter, to the quiet little town of Nazareth, where some interesting rumours have been flying around. Haven't heard of Nazareth? Well, neither had we, but Holly and her intrepid broadcast team have hunted it down like the Malteser chocolate in a box of celebrations. And here's her report.
Hi everyone. You might be wondering why I'm here in Nazareth, a long way away from anywhere. There's not been a lot of good news going around here lately. Well, things are looking up because in this sweet little town, there's a story going around about a girl and an angel. Hi, my name is Holly Berry, reporting from Good News, your daily dose of sunshine and smiles. What's your name?
I'm Mary.
So Mary, can you tell us what happened?
There was a big angel. It said, "Don't be afraid." But it was really big. Then it said, "I know a baby." The angel said to call him Emmanuel. Which is a bit of an odd name, really. It means God with us.
So how are you feeling now, Mary?
I'm very happy, but a bit scared.
I'm now at the home of Mary's fiancé, Joe. So Joe, can you tell us how you felt about the angel and the baby and everything?
Joseph, actually.
Sorry, Joseph. But really, did you believe her?
Well, I thought she was a bit loopy.
I mean, who sees angels nowadays?
Well, I did too, which is just as well. Because I was a bit confused.
I'm not sure what to do.
Anyway, we're going to call the baby Jesus.
Because that means God saves.
And we could do with a bit of that just now. It's scary, but I think we're going to be okay, because God is with us.
Well, there you are. Angels and news of a baby with interesting names. You heard it here, folks. This is Holly Berry reporting for Good News. Back to the studio.
Great report there from Holly. Sounds like there's good news brewing up in Nazareth.
Oh, I love a good brew. Fancy a cuppa?
Milk, 3 sugars, please.
Sanj, it's your moment. Oh, thanks, Sanj Bob. Oh, custard creams. Now that is good news. None of that jammy dodger nonsense. Well, it seems that since Holly visited Nazareth, there's been a bit of a census type thingy. So poor Mary and Joe have had to walk all the way to Bethlehem. I think we have a report here following Mary and Joseph on their journey. George, do we have that? Oh, yes, here it is. Thanks, George.
Wow, what a journey. I hope they made it to Bethlehem okay.
Yeah, and that they found somewhere to stay. Those little villages can get very overcrowded. So later in the programme, Holly will be reporting live from Bethlehem, as we've had a tip-off that we should be expecting a royal birth very shortly.
In Bethlehem? That's so cool.
Apparently so. But before we get to that, let's have Catherine, our stunningly sensational weather girl. Let's see whether or not she's got some good news for us.
Thank you. So, following last year's bleak midwinter, when in fact the frosty wind did make moan, the earth was hard as iron and the water was in fact like a stone, early indications suggest that it's going to be a silent night and possibly holy too. All is calm, all is bright. Are you listening? The snow is glistening. So it sounds like it's going to be lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. In short, it's beginning to look a bit like Christmas. However, if you are shepherds and you feel like washing your socks, flocks, you might need to prepare for the unexpected.
Socks. Everybody's favourite gift.
Is it?
Yeah, I love myself a pair of novelty socks. Now here is a little quiz for you at home. Can you work out which pair of socks belongs to which person? So we've got 4 options, okay? We've got the king, the baby, the angel, and the shepherd, right? And the socks that you have to match them up with. We've got tiny sock, we've got golden socks, we've got hand wash only socks, and we've got old socks with a hole in them, okay? Can you guess which they match up with? Okay. Now, of course, firstly, the tiny socks are for the baby. That's good, well done. Secondly, the golden socks are for the king. Thirdly, the hand wash only socks are, of course, for the shepherd on those cold nights. And last but not least, for the angel, we've got the holy socks. Do you see what...
Well, moving on. In the early hours of last night, some miraculous events happened over the hills above Bethlehem, and our man in the field, Bright Sky, caught it all. And here's the exclusive.
Good morning. We're just here on the outskirts of Bethlehem with some shepherds who have experienced something quite mind-blowing. This is what they say happened.
So we were just looking after our sheep, as we do. We have to take it in turns to count, because each time one of us counts, we fall asleep. 1, 2, 3. I think at this point, Bert, was it your turn to count?
Yeah, Billy had taken the last hour and he'd not come round yet.
Silly Billy!
So there we were, looking after the sheep, apart from Billy.
Silly Billy!
When out of nowhere came what looked like a bright shining light and some outstanding singing. I mean, I'm a fan of Ariana Grande and Cliff Richards, but this was on a Kylie level. You should be so lucky.
Holy, 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 holy! Do not be afraid.
I bring you good news that will cause great joy to all the people.
Today in the town of David, a saviour has been born. He is the Messiah. He is the Lord.
This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger.
Boom. Glory to God on the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those on whom his favour rests. Holy, 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 holy. That's the word.
The word.
You see, how beautiful was that singing?
What I want to know is how peace could rest on anyone. I mean, wouldn't they roll off?
Not if they were still frozen in the bag.
Oh, silly Billy!
This sounds amazing. But what now? How are you feeling?
We were just awestruck. I mean, it's not every night you get to see something like that. I mean, most nights all we get to see is Billy sleepwalking, pretending he's a sheep.
Silly Billy.
It was amazing. I think we're still a bit in shock. You just go through life doing what you're doing and suddenly something hits you and you realise there's more to life than what you're doing.
You know, you're right. I think there might be more to life. I think I might get myself onto one of those alpha courses to find out more. But what are you going to do? When you experience something like this, how do you respond?
Well, we're off to Bethlehem to see what this heavenly pop group were on about. We have one problem, though.
Yeah, we need to go. Billy's still asleep, but we have to make sure all our sheep are counted. We'll take a few with us, but would you mind counting the rest?
No problem. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Is this the way to Bethlehem? Every night I've been hugging my sheep.
Well, there you have it. Extraordinary happenings here in a field just outside of Bethlehem. Right, we're off back to the Good News studio whilst I just make sure there's the right amount of sheep. 1, 2, 3...
Quite the announcement there. I wouldn't be surprised if those Bible beats made it to #1.
Boom.
That's the word.
The word.
I do feel bad for that Billy though. It is important, by the way, to get your 8 hours of sleep.
Anyway, thank you, Bright, for that extraordinary report. And now we have a real treat for you, some live music here in the studio.
It's my moment. It's my moment. Oh yeah, come on.
What have you got there, Chris?
It's my didgeridoo, Carol. It's a brilliant instrument, very difficult and nuanced to play.
That's great, Chris. It really is, but actually we do have an act lined up for us, and actually it's a really important one.
What about my didgeridoo?
I'm gonna have to ask that you didgeridoo. And anyway, live in the studio and joined by a heavenly host from across the globe, we have Gabriel and his heavenly hostettes. So now the time has come for everyone's favourite part of the show.
The time where we make a fool of ourselves for your entertainment.
Yes, that's right, it's time for the host challenge.
As always, you've sent in your special requests over the course of the week of what you would like us to do, and here are some of the ones that you've sent in. Here's one from @ChipperIsTheBets, who says, which of you guys can drink a whole can of Coke the quickest through a sock?
Oh no, count me out of that one.
I do like socks though.
You're right, you do. And here is one from @EvertonFan92 who says, I'd really love to see Chris Cracker stand on his head and sing Silent Night backwards. And I think the most surprising part of that statement is that Everton has 92 whole fans.
But this week's winner has been sent in by SpongeBob SquarePants, and here is how he got on.
Using only the festive items provided.
Make yourself the best Christmas outfit.
You have 3 minutes.
Your time starts now. Okay. Christmas outfit. I reckon I'm gonna try and make like a pair of trousers, which might turn into a dress, or maybe it's gonna be a skirt.
Okay, I think we're gonna go for a dress with a fancy sleeve. Because that's couture.
You're gonna laugh, I haven't actually made it long enough.
That looks pretty cool. Like a bit of a slit at the bottom there as well, like that.
Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Where's the sellotape gone?
That's my sleeve. Oh no, I can't reach the back. Am I allowed a helper? Oh, that's right.
I don't think I've felt so much pressure in my life. It's so scary.
Oh, I can't peel it off.
Thank you. Gonna have a little bow on it. Nice.
It's my panic face. Still got the wrap.
It keeps wadding down.
Oh no!
Oh god.
Okay, we'll try again. Maybe if I take the glasses off, then obviously there's the issue of not being able to see.
I reckon I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Okay, stop the clock.
While Chris and Carol get tidied up, it's time for another carol.
Oh, well, I don't know about you, but I think everyone enjoyed my outfit the best.
I think that's debatable. I think I was a clear winner. I think there's no doubt about it. But as much as I would like to discuss this all day, it's time for us to join Holly in Bethlehem with a report on a sudden overcrowding due to the census taking place. Can you hear me, Holly? We're having some problems with the sound, Holly.
That gives me all manner of Zoom call flashbacks.
Oh, it's a film. How many words? It's a Christmas film. Santa Claus. Christmas. Die Hard.
Die Hard's not a Christmas film, Chris.
Listen, Carol, we've talked about this. Die Hard is definitely a Christmas movie. It all goes down on the staff Christmas party. Therefore, it is a Christmas movie and one of the best to grace us on the big screens.
Right. Okay, well, I think Holly's audio issues have been fixed now. Thanks, George.
Oops, sorry, Holly. How's it going?
I'm here in Bethlehem to report on the unprecedented chaos caused by the new Roman census. And I can tell you that yesterday I got the very last free guest room in the entire village. Social distancing is getting very tricky indeed. But I've come out here to get a slightly different perspective of the overcrowding by some occupants of the village who have found themselves cast out into the cold.
Well, it's utterly outrageous. I always get to sleep in the house and I keep everything nice and warm.
Oh yes, plenty of heat. Gas central heating, that's what we'll call you.
Well, I can't believe I've been moved out into the field just to make room for more humans. Donald and I are feeling quite put out. Aren't we, Donald?
Don't fuss now, Clarie. It's only for a couple of nights. And they needed to make space for that lovely little family.
That wasn't a family. Just 2 humans and a skinny donkey. The blue one looked a bit round, I suppose. Probably put on a bit of weight during lockdown.
Clark, honestly, do you understand nothing? The round one was about to have a baby, like an egg, but a tiny little human.
Funny way to have chicks, if you ask me.
So they are a proper family now. I saw that skinny donkey of theirs at feeding time, and he said they're called Mary and Joe, and that they've had their fowl. I mean baby. And it's very pink and noisy. He's right glad that Mary's looking a bit lighter for the journey home.
I'm sorry. Did you say Mary and Joe? Oh my goodness, how exciting. Don't just stand there. Come with me.
We seem to have lost Holly for the minute. Should we go ahead to the sport? Oh no, we've got her back again. Thanks, George.
So I have made it here, just in time. This is Holly Berry reporting for Good News, and I can exclusively tell you that the baby that has been promised by the angel has been born here in Bethlehem.
It's a boy. We're going to call him Jesus.
I love you, Jesus. Away in a manger, no crib for a bed, the little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet head. The stars in the bright sky looked down where he lay. The little Lord Jesus asleep on the hay. The cattle are lowing, the baby awakes, but little Lord Jesus no crying he makes. I love thee, Lord Jesus, look down from the sky and stay by my side till morning is night.
This is Holly Berry in Bethlehem with really good news. Back to you in the studio.
Well, that sounds like really good news for Mary and Joe. Now, we have something special for you today, okay, where some of our viewers have sent in videos to help us bring a really old reading with a really, really good message.
The people walking in darkness have seen a great light.
On those living in a land of great darkness,
a light has dawned.
A child is born for us.
To us a son is given.
And the government will be on his shoulders.
And he will be called Wonderful Counselor,
Mighty God,
Everlasting Father,
Prince of Peace.
And the greatness of his government and peace.
There will be no end.
He will reign on David's throne
and over his kingdom, with justice and righteousness,
establishing and upholding it
from that time on and forever.
The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this.
That was absolutely wonderful. Thank you to everyone who sent in their videos. And now we're really pleased to introduce Richard, who's bringing us a very special message on just why this baby is such good news. Richard.
Thanks, Chris and Carol in the studio. So, what's it been like for you guys this year? 2020's been a tough year, hasn't it? And we've all probably tried to find things that will help us get us through, to see if there's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. So I suppose what we've done in our house this year, I mean, the first thing we did, I made my debut on the social media platform TikTok. And as a family, we decided in lockdown that every day we would do a different TikTok. So for those of you that don't know what TikTok is, basically it's a form of social media where people upload themselves doing either dances or miming to songs or miming to sketches and different things that people say. So once a day we'd record it, and we did the first 50 days, and it was great because it brought us together as a family, gave us something to do. But by day 50, it probably had the opposite effect and was probably starting to pull us apart. So we decided to stop that. What else we did? We went camping. So in that little bit between the two lockdowns, we managed to get camping, and which was great, and the weather was okay until we started to pitch the tent down. And when we started to pitch the tent down, it started to rain, and it was just miserable and horrible, and no one wanted to be there, and no one wanted to take the tents down. So that was a tough call. Also did baking. I mean, I love baking. My daughter loves baking. So we did cookies and we did cakes. And to start with, you take them around to the neighbours, don't you? Just be a little bit generous in this tough time. But then you kind of think, well, I don't want to keep giving stuff to the neighbours because they might get a bit overwhelmed by it. So we just started eating it ourselves, which that then starts putting on the pounds. And so that's when probably the fourth thing that I did to try and get me through this time was I got into Joe Wicks. Now, if we'd have bought shares in Joe Wicks or Zoom at the start of lockdown, we'd have a lot of money now, wouldn't we? We'd have no problems whatsoever. But got into exercise, 7 days of sweat with Joe Wicks, kind of doing PE with Joe, a lot of people did with their kids. But it got to the point where I probably overdid it a little bit, and now my back's gone. So for the last 3 weeks, I haven't been able to do any exercise because it just aches, and my back has a real problem. Oh, hang on a minute. I think that's someone at the door. The joys of working from home, eh? Won't be a second. Got a present. Come on. I mean, that's good, isn't it? I mean, I hope you don't mind, but I think I might, because love Christmas, because actually, in this tough time, I think a lot of us have been looking forward to Christmas and everything that it brings, just to give a bit of relief, isn't it? Just to give us a bit of hope that actually something good can come out of 2020. And it looks like I've got a present here. I don't know who it's from. What's your favourite present? I don't know whether you've got a favourite present. I probably had, I think one of my favourite presents was actually something that my wife bought me, obviously. But it was something that I'd asked for as a child. So those of you that are a bit older like me will remember something called a Mr. Frosty. Now a Mr. Frosty, you put ice cubes in its head and then you'd turn it round, it'd make a slush, and then Percy Penguins, you'd do all the juice on top and it'd make a slush. And I wanted one of these for ages, and my parents always used to say, they're a waste of money, Richard. You're not having one. You're not having one, they're a waste of money. Well, I don't know whether it was 26, 27, Christmas morning, I opened a present and it was a Mr. Frosty from my wife. I was so chuffed. I was absolutely loving it. But you never guess what? My parents were right. It was a waste of money. Literally, it wouldn't even break the ice. It was that flimsy product. But yeah, so we get presents, don't we? And Christmas, we look forward to presents. We look forward to seeing what's under the tree. We see what other people kind of think of us, whether you have that auntie that buys you a knitted vest every year, I don't know. There's some great presents that we've had over the years, isn't there? But, you know, often we kind of use a present and kind of, we get excited, we use it, and then it kind of, the novelty wears off. We might still use it, or we might not, like in the case of the Mr. Frosty. It might end up in a car boot sale or a raffle later on in the year because you've just not used it. And the reality is, you know, we can look forward to these things. We can build up in anticipation. They're great for a moment, and then they're not the same. So I hope you don't mind. I'm going to open this to see whether there is anything a bit more decent than a Mr. Frosty. I tell you, whoever's wrapped this has done a good job. Well, it's a big box, and it feels quite light, but it's a big box, but it's covered in newspaper. This, you know what? It's got, I don't know whether you can see that, but like it's got a page from the TV Times or Radio Times, whichever ones you use. Do you ever remember? I don't know whether you still do this, but I used to, and I still occasionally do now, go through when I see the Christmas TV listings and highlight all the films. I'm gonna record that. I'm gonna record that. Oh, Jurassic Park's on. I'll have that. You know, Morecambe and Wise Christmas special. Every year I'll record it, even though I've seen it loads. Doctor Who Christmas special. I'd say Our House. My wife and my daughter aren't that keen, but me and my son Joel love it. So that'll be on record. There's loads of stuff that we want to watch, isn't there? There's so many channels now that we can just, there's loads of things to watch. In fact, our recording box, I use a generic term there, but you know what I mean. Our recording box had so many things on in, I think it was June, July this year, that I had to go through and delete them all because it was 90% full. And there was about 7 films that I'd recorded last Christmas. I thought, yeah, I'm going to watch that. Yeah, I'm going to watch that. And in the end, I never watched it. And again, you really look forward, you know, you kind of think, right, my Christmas, I'm going to watch this, I'm going to watch that. And you never do. And you kind of think, oh, what was the point in getting excited about that? What was the point in getting hopeful about that? So movies is a key one. Oh, I mean, I don't know. We love in our house the royal family. We love, not the sitcom, although that's funny at times. But there's a picture here of the royals. They're going out. Obviously tier 2 because it was, you know, London got tier 2. Anyway, that's the last of the political comments I'm going to use. But, you know, it's great to be around family and friends, isn't it? It's great to have that. And this time's tough. And again, we all thought Christmas was going to be that place where I'm going to build up. I'm going to be able to see so-and-so. I'm going to be able to see so-and-so. To see family and friends. And the reality is, I don't know about you, but it's been tougher for us to actually have to choose the people that we see. It's been really hard. I mean, we started, myself and Laura started a missional community at the beginning of lockdown. I mean, who does that? And we've only been able to see them face to face about a couple of times, which is really tough because we want to see our family, we want to see our friends around this time. And hopefully, you know, 2021 will be the year of family and friends. But the reality as well, just like other things let us down, you know, the reality is people do let us down. And sometimes we can kind of get overwhelmed by kind of being around too many people. I know that seems a lot distance now, but you know what? We can't truly put our trust, because sometimes, you know what, have you ever asked for something for Christmas? I asked for something from Christmas for a relative and it came and I was really excited and it turned out not to be what it was. I was really gutted, and how you showed your disappointment is really hard in those situations. So family and friends is something that we perhaps look forward to at Christmas normally and New Year, and hopefully we will do. But we can't always depend on Christmas. I mean, for a lot of people, that's what Christmas is all about, isn't it? Food. It's my son Joel's favourite meal, Christmas dinner. I mean, throughout the year he'll go like, can we have Christmas dinner today? Because there's just loads of trimmings, isn't there? There's loads of food that we kind of eat and we don't really need it, do we? Let's face it. But what makes me laugh is, I say laugh, but I do it, is that We'll have a big meal at Christmas dinner. And on Sundays, we normally have one meal, but we'll have a big Christmas meal. And then what will happen is, about 5 or 6 o'clock, oh, anyone want any cheese and crackers? Anyone want any pork pie? And there's a whole new spread. And you just come out and you go, you know what, this January I'm going to need Joe Wicks again because I'm really full. And we look forward, but it's instant gratification, isn't it? And once we kind of vet it, we just feel so stuffed. And there might be a tiny amount of contentment off the back of it, but that soon goes to like, oh, you know what, I couldn't eat again for another month. So we've got food there, we've got TV, we've got family. What else we've got? Oh, I mean, something that like this year's been a nightmare for, hasn't it? And someone's putting this, I don't know what kind of present wrapping it is, but someone's just some tablets. Because actually a lot of time we put our hope in like health, don't we? And it's amazing that the doctors have been working so hard, the scientists have been working so hard, the nurses over this time to keep us as fit and healthy as we can be during COVID. But what this year's taught us is we can't always depend on our health, can we? And so that's something else that perhaps we might hope for, we might kind of trust in to kind of get us through, but actually we can't all depend on. Guys, I think I'm through to the present. So I'm gonna see what's inside it because I'm really excited now. Like, I need something to hold on to in this time. I need something to grab hold of because actually 2020's been rubbish, hasn't it? You know, it's just an empty box. Like, isn't it funny that actually a lot of these things that we put our kind of hope in, that a lot of the things that we kind of look forward to and can actually, after they've happened, after we've had the experience, can feel quite empty. Just like this box, it can feel quite like as though, oh, was that it? What difference has it made? But actually, there is something else in here. If I can just open it and see, hello, look what's happened to the box. It's broken open. And there's a phrase, a word inside it. And that word is hope. And actually this Christmas, more than ever, we probably need to grab hold of this. We can put our hope in lots of different things. We can put our trust in lots of different things. But actually, this Christmas was about the birth of a baby. The birth of baby Jesus. And the reason that he was born was to bring hope. And as you can see here, actually the box has opened up into a cross because that's what Christmas is all about. It isn't just about the baby was born, baby Jesus was born, but it's about the reason he was born. And that's a challenge for us because we need hope in this time, don't we? More than ever, we need to grab hold of what hope is. We heard earlier on by the rapping angels, as we like to call them. And we heard that the angels came down and said, I bring you good news that will bring joy for all the people. Now, that wasn't just a sense of kind of instant happiness like we get with a lot of those things like food, like presents, like watching our favourite TV programme, but it was a deep-rooted joy. Another word that is used a lot at Christmas, along with hope, along with joy, is peace. And the angels go on to say, or rap in our context, glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those whom his favour rests. Now, I don't know what you think of when you hear the word peace. Peace and quiet is a phrase that was used a lot, and we try and use it in our house, but it very rarely happens. But actually, peace comes from the Hebrew word shalom. And that word talks about contentment, completeness and wholeness. Actually, restoration, being restored to what we were created to be. And the reason Jesus came down at Christmas and the hope that we have is because of Jesus, we can be restored and we can become who we were created to be. It's about restoration this Christmas. It's about you becoming all you were created to be and for you to be restored back into the relationship you were created to have. And that's with God our Father. So how do we do that? How do we get that peace? How do we get that restoration? Well, it's quite simple. We just ask Jesus to come into our life. This baby, this man we hear about in the Bible, we can ask him to enter into our lives, say sorry for the things that we've done wrong, and choose Jesus this Christmas as our hope. What are you choosing this Christmas for your hope? What is going to sustain you longer than this 2 or 3 weeks, longer than the 5 days we're allowed to do stuff, longer than we're in lockdown? What is going to sustain you? I can tell you this Christmas, if you choose Jesus, if you choose life, if you choose hope, you will know what it is to have true peace, to have restoration, and to be on a journey towards who you were created to be. We're going to hear a song now called Noel, and I'd just love you to reflect on those few words, on the sketches that we've seen today, and just think about it for yourself personally. Okay, what's your hope in? Where are you going to find hope this Christmas? Thanks.
Love incarnate, love divine, star and angels gave the sign. Bow to babe on bended knee, the savior of humanity. Unto us a child is born. He shall reign forevermore. Noel, Noel, come and see what God has done. Noel, Noel,
Thanks, Richard. Plenty for us to think about there.
And now it's time for the sport report with, yep, you guessed it, it's Holly. How does she do it all?
Who knows?
I'm here in the desert reporting on the latest stage of the Great Camel Race, and I'm going to be bringing you some exclusive interviews with the leading riders.
Amazing. Camel, brace yourselves, everybody.
So, man of great insight, can I ask you, what's the competition like out there?
I can tell you, Holly, it's seriously rough. I've been ahead on this last leg, but I think I'm going to win. I'm pretty confident I can do it.
And how does it feel to be wearing the yellow jersey for the first time on this stretch?
I think actually that it suits me, don't you? Look, I'm bringing gold for the new king, so it makes sense that I get here first.
That was man of great insight, currently wearing the yellow jersey, but who knows for how long. Oh, a highly esteemed one.
That's the name of the camel, actually. I'm George.
And the bear?
Well, actually, it's for the baby. The others have got gold and some sort of whiffy perfume, but this seems much more like a present. I got it at a service station. Great price. I'm sure the baby's going to totally appreciate it when I get there first.
And here we have Eastern Prince, and the rider's looking well in control of that camel. Let's see if we can catch him. Eastern Prince, you're chasing the lead there and carrying a lot of gifts. Can you tell us your secret?
Big arms, Holly, that's what it takes. And of course, a very fine beast like this. That's why I'm going to get there first.
Can you tell me, where exactly is it that you're going?
Actually, Holly, do you know what? I've got no idea at all. We're all following her.
As always.
This was Holly Berry reporting for Good News. Back to the studio.
Well, what a race!
I'm not convinced any of those parents actually made it.
And who knew George knew how to ride a camel?
He really can do it all.
So that's it for today's show. Thank you so much for watching. Now our house band are going to play us out with Joy to the World. Take it away, Ben.
I'm Chris Cracker.
And I'm Carol Singer.
And this was Good News.
Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. You are my joy, you are my joy, yes you are. You are my joy, joy, joy. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the earth, the Savior reigns. While men their songs employ, while fields and blood, rocks, fields and flames. It's sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat, repeat the sounding joy, joy, joy. You are my joy, joy, joy. You are my joy, yes you are. You are my joy, joy, joy. No more let sin and sorrow grow. No thorns infest the ground. He comes to make his blessings flow.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our Christmas fun and that it brought a smile to your face this morning. I'm here to say thank you to every single person that was involved in whatever way in producing our Good News broadcast today. So whether you sang, danced, recorded, wrote silly jokes, or made music, we are really thankful to every single person that sent us footage and helped to make this happen. Of course, we did this not just to make you smile, but because we really believe that Jesus is good news, not just for angels and kings and shepherds, but for you and for me and for this broken world that we live in. And we did it as a celebration of the fact that even though we can't be together right now, in Jesus, we are family. And whatever we look like or sound like or wherever we're living right now, we are family together in Him. Now, perhaps if something in Richard's talk this morning touched your heart or you want to find out more, please do write to us at hello@reachonline.org. We would love to hear from you and would be happy to try to answer your questions. So it just remains for me, on behalf of the whole of Reach, to say, have a really joy-filled Christmas and a hope-filled New Year. Blessings to you all.